Hey, what's up, Mr. Sutter here. Today we're going to be going over the questions from part one of the final exam review. Let's get started. All right, so question one, the diagram below shows what occurs when a ray of light strikes and enters a pond. Which property of light is illustrated when the ray enters the pond? Is it A, refraction, B, reflection, C, absorption, or D, emission? The answer is A, refraction. The ray of light bends or refracts as it enters the water from the air, moving from a higher speed to a slower speed in the water. So right now, the light ray is coming in, and when it hits the water, because it's a different material, it then bends and moves at a slower speed because it's easier for the light ray to move in air than it is water, so it bends, right? So that's refraction. Right, question two, the diagram below shows a light ray. In which diagram is the light ray being in the diagram is the light ray being, is it transmitted, absorbed, reflected, or refracted? Right? The correct answer is choice C, reflected. The picture shows the light ray bouncing or reflecting off the surface. When a light ray comes in and then bounces off the surface without moving through it, that's called reflection. All right, question three. When placed in direct sunlight, which object will absorb the most visible light energy? Is it A, a piece of glass, B, a snowball, C, a shiny mirror, or D, a black sweater? Right, the correct answer choice is D, a black sweater. The color black absorbs all colors of the visible light spectrum. All the other choices will either reflect light or let light through. The glass lets light through, snowball reflects light, and a shiny mirror probably reflects and lets through light. Right, if we take a look at this, here's a black object. Black object will absorb every wave of the visible spectrum, while a white object will reflect all visible light. A blue object will absorb everything but blue, and a red object will absorb everything but red, but a black object will absorb all visible light energy. All right, question four. Which statement best describes the energy changes that occur while a child is riding a sled down a steep snow-covered hill? So what's going to happen to their potential and kinetic energy? Right, the correct answer choice is B. Kinetic energy is going to increase and potential energy is going to decrease. As the child sleds down the hill, the potential energy of the student turns into kinetic energy. Let's look at a picture of this. So at the top of the hill, the child has a lot of potential energy, but they're not moving, so they have very little, or they're starting to move a teeny tiny bit, so they have a little bit of kinetic energy. As the child goes down the hill, they start to gain speed. That's our energy of movement, kinetic energy, but we start to lose potential energy. So at the bottom of the hill, the child's moving the fastest. That's why they have the most kinetic energy, but they lost all of their potential energy. So right now, they have very high kinetic and low potential, as opposed to the beginning where they had high potential and low kinetic. All right, question five. The diagram below shows a home with a solar heating system. What is the original source of the energy in this heating system? Is it A, the heated water, B, the heated air, C, sunlight, or D, water pump? Right, the correct answer choice is C, sunlight. The sun is sending energy into the house. All the other choices use the energy of the sunlight. We can see here the sunlight comes in through the solar collector, through the water pump, the radiator, the heated air. So we can see that our original source of energy is the sunlight entering the house. All right, question six. What is the sequence of energy transformations represented in the diagram? Is it A, mechanical to chemical to solar? Is it B, solar to electrical to mechanical? Or is it C, solar to chemical to electrical? Right, the correct answer choice is B, solar to electrical to mechanical. Right, so the sun rays are absorbed by the solar panels, which then power the motor, which is electrical energy, which then turns the wheels, which are a form of mechanical energy. Right, question seven. The pie chart below compares the amounts of different energy from different sources used in the United States each year. Which two energy sources together provide more than 50% of the energy needs of the United States? So this is just a graph question, so they want to know which two of these pieces of this pie chart, which two of them are going to add up to more than 50% out of the choices that we have down below, right? So the only two pieces of the pie chart that add up to 50% that are listed in our choices are oil and coal, right? So oil and coal combine for 65% of the energy used in the United States. None of the other choices combine for more than 50. Now, oil and natural gas would be the greatest amount of energy if we were to combine any two pieces of the pie chart, but we have to look at the combination of the two energy resources that they gave us in our choices below. So that's oil and coal is going to have a greater is going to use the greatest amount of is going to supply the greatest amount of energy compared to all the other choices given. All right, question 8. Which of the following would have the greatest long-term impact on reducing CO2 emissions in the United States? Is it A, commuting by bike to work daily, B, taking shorter showers, C, electing government officials who push for enforceable social and environmental laws, or is it D, switching to energy efficient LED bulbs? Right? The correct answer is C, electing government officials who push for enforceable social and environmental laws. So to have long-term, large-scale reductions in nationwide CO2 emissions requires the government to create legislation that requires the industry to curb emissions. The three other choices all help to reduce individual CO2 emission, but not on as large a scale as curbing industry emissions. So it's getting those factories and those the factories and those automotive companies to have cars that are now more energy efficient and have factories that are more energy efficient as well that are going to lead to our greatest change in terms of CO2 emissions. All right, question 9. Which graph below shows an object slowing down? Right, the correct answer choice is A, where the line is sloping downwards. So graph A shows that as time is increasing, our speed is decreasing. So time is increasing to the right, so the line is going to keep moving to the right, but our speed is going to go down because we want to show that the object's slowing down. So our correct answer choice is A. Question 10, a bicyclist is moving at 15 meters per second, and then 10 seconds later, the bicyclist is moving at 5 meters per second. During this time, the bicyclist was slowing down, speeding up, or moving at constant speed. Right, the correct answer choice is A. The original speed of the bicyclist was 15 meters per second, and then 10 seconds later, it was 5 meters per second. The bicyclist needed to be slowing down in order to decrease speed. So they went from 15 meters per second to 5 meters per second. So we know they had to be slowing down. Right, that's going to wrap it up for part 1 of the final exam review. If you have any questions, please feel free to send me a message. Other than that, I'll see you in the next one.